Hello, welcome to the African Football HQ YouTube channel. Today we have Ahmed Osman and Yusuf Wail here to talk about the best possible Egyptian 11 from 1990s to present. So the rules for this are pretty simple, just anyone who played from the national team from 1990 to present, and we're going to play with a 4-3-3 formation. So regular four at the back, a center mid, two center mids, attacking mid, wingers, and a forward. So we'll start at goalkeeper. This is probably a very easy one. Assam Al Hadri is probably the best African goalkeeper, maybe one of the best in the world of all time.
100%.
So, is there anyone that can battle with him, Ahmed?
Well, we spoke about this just before we started recording, and although we can put Shubir right up there with him, I honestly feel like Hadri is it's no contest really. It's not even a debate. But just out of respect, we'll say Shubir, especially being he was actually more than average or as an Egyptian goalkeeper, and obviously the history he has with Al Ahly. But just didn't reach the success that Al Hadri has. Like it's unbelievable what Al Hadri has done. 2006, 2008, 2010, and the icing on the cake, representing Egypt at the World Cup. So I think that's one thing that Shubir had over him, that some people could have debated before the World Cup in Russia. But now he's actually, obviously, it wasn't that great of a tournament for Egypt, but he still represented his country.
Yes, I definitely agree with Arms here. He's undisputed the best goalkeeper, maybe in Egyptian history of all. And you've seen great acknowledge him and how good he is. Like before and after, actually, our match with Italy in the Confederation Cups, I think it was in 2009. You can see greats like the legendary Gigi Buffon appreciating the talent of Hassan Al Hadri. That's not something to take for granted at all. That's something big. If the Giants can recognize how good he is, then we too should acknowledge that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's one of the few locks in the team, so we'll put him in at goalkeeper. On to left back. This position isn't as easy as goalkeeper. There's some our nominees are Mohamed Amara, Rabia Yassin, and Said Moad. Yusuf, who comes in for you?
It wasn't easy, okay, but I'm gonna go with Rabia Yassin. Rabia Yassin, during the time in the 90s, he was dubbed as a revolutionary. He was a flying wingback, and Said Maoud was the same too, especially Said Maoud since he featured in like the Hassan Shahata's revolutionary team, African team. But given the difference in football between the 90s and now, he was, as I said, he was a revolutionary. He was doing something unorthodox for Egyptians, especially given that Egyptian football isn't the most skillful. So when you find someone in a defensive position as attack-minded and as skillful as he was, that actually deserves lots of recognition, as well as being featured in the World Cup, in the 1990 World Cup. So that's why I'm going to go with him over Said Maoud, but definitely comes in second choice, and right after him is Said Maoud.
Yeah, I think it's a great choice. I agree to an extent, but I had to go with Mohamed Amara for me. Someone who's got a lot of experience playing in the Bundesliga. He's played in big games. Someone who I think it's difficult, the left back one, because it's not the greatest position that we've ever had, like in my opinion, and it's not going to be like the easiest to pick because there's no standout. But Mohamed Amara, for me, for what he's done outside of Egypt, especially in earlier times when going out and playing outside of Egypt wasn't that popular, and it wasn't something for Egyptian players that they felt comfortable to do. So to have the bravery to do that before it was kind of, can we say, before it was cool, it was brave of him. But Said Maawad alone, just for that cross for Ahmed Metaib against Algeria, is automatically in contention. He just didn't have as long a run as I would have expected. He was consistent, just wasn't long enough. So he did great for Al Ahly and for Egypt, just not in a duration that I would have wanted him to, just to put him in this team.
Yeah, so one of the issues with making teams like this is trying to balance the players' achievements with club and country. So we need to see whether someone who performed very well and was a trailblazer in playing abroad, or someone who was a real standout for the national team. So if we have to go for one, who would we pick?
Mohamed Amara for me.
Yusuf?
No, 100% Rabia Yassin.
Okay, I'm going to take the tiebreaker, and I'm going to say Yassin to make it 2-1. Sorry, Ahmed.
All right. I see you ganging up on me. It's fine. It's cool. It's cool. All right,
Go
that's
on to the
fine.
other wing, right back. This one should be a bit easier. So Ahmed Fathy comes to mind, obviously. He's been captain for as long as I can remember. Ibrahim Hassan is another option, but Ahmed, can anyone really challenge Fathy?
No, not for me. Another position where someone's been incredibly consistent for numerous years, and an incredible captain as well. I think you need leaders if we're trying to create the perfect team. When we finish the whole team, you'll realize how many leaders we have. But Ahmed Fathy is definitely one of them. Maybe not the best recently for his country, but what he's done. Obviously, that goal against Ivory Coast in 2008. He's so versatile. If he feels like he has to play left back or midfield for a coach, he'll do that, and he'll do it brilliantly. So one of those players that you can count to perform on any given day, and no contest, Ahmed Fathy for sure. A great servant for his country, in my opinion.
Actually, I agree with Ahmed with all that he said, but maybe like 100% for all of his achievements for country and club. But like in this context, we're talking about country and Egypt's best 11. He's won lots of things with Egypt, and he's proved to be a very, very loyal and strong servant. Especially, and I like to emphasize Ahmed's point. He stood up for whatever we needed. If he wanted to play left back, centre back, defensive midfielder, or right back, he always stepped up and did a great job. Maybe Ibrahim Hassan was a better footballer all in all, but Ahmed Fathy's impact on the national team was definitely way bigger.
I don't want to spoil the rest of the team, but if you have Ibrahim Hassan and Hussam Hassan in the same team, fireworks. That's all I'm going to say.
Definitely.
So I had to make sure that both of them are on the same team.
Yeah.
All right, on to center back. So we're going to pick two. Just to save time, we know Wael Goma. He's a lock, right, guys?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay,
no
so the main debate comes who's going to partner with him. Hani Ramzi, Abdul Zahir El Sa, and Hani Said come to mind. Yusuf, who should partner with Goma?
That was a tough choice, honestly, because I have to choose one from three. So I don't want to be unfair. But for the sake of the best 11, I'm going to go with Hani Ramzi, but only because he was a baller. He wasn't the type, he wasn't like Hani Said or the traditional centre back, like the rock. Like we know how Wael Goma is dubbed, like he's the rock. But Hani Ramzi, he was a baller, like I said. He used to play out with the ball. He knew how to handle the ball. He was calm on the ball. So that's something also we don't see a lot in Egyptian defenders, especially centre backs. So that's why I'm going to choose. Hani Ramzi.
Yeah. I agree with every point he made about Hani Ramzi. I don't need to repeat it because of the time. But absolutely, Wael Goma and Hani Ramzi. Special mention to Hani Said, again, who was really important during the Hassan Shahata reign, because he played as a libero or a third defender right behind the centre-backs. And it was kind of very revolutionary, and a lot of teams didn't know how to deal with it. But he was really good at that, at kind of sniffing danger. And if anyone did actually have the bravery to get past Wael Goma or have the skill to do it, he would be right there cleaning up. So a special mention to him, just missed out because of how brilliant these centre backs we have in our team are.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the back four and goalkeeper done. Very formidable indeed.
Yeah.
If this team is playing now, they're very good. So we're gonna pick two center midfielders to play behind the attacking midfielder. Options are Ahmed Hassan, Hazem Imam, Hosni Abdurradu, and maybe even Tariq Ahmed today. So Ahmed, that might be a bit controversial.
No way. There's no way he's getting in there, man. There's no way.
So Ahmed, who do you think should be the two in midfield?
I'm still shocked about that Tariq Ahmed comment. Anyway,
I didn't say Al-Nindi, man. That would have been worse.
Yeah, well, you could have said Mohammed and Nindi, and I would have turned off this whole phone call. But yeah, it's all good. Anyway, Hosni Abdurrabbu is a shoo-in for me. So is Ahmed Hassan. Ahmed Hassan, straight up, like it's not even a debate, because one of the most capped players in the world, like not just Egypt, the whole world. Like it's just crazy how consistent and how many games he's played. One of the very few players, again, that has played for Ahli, Zamalek, and Ismaili, the big three in Egypt. and just incredibly consistent, a big leader. So he has to be in. Hosni Abdurrabbu, it's strange actually choosing him because I didn't think I would have him in my team. But when I come to think of it,
not strange at all, man. Hosni Abdurrabbu was the destroyer and the baller
Yeah.
at the same time.
I just mean when we saw him in 2008 and 2009 really was when he was like at his peak, winning player of the tournament 2008 in Ghana. But I felt like he lost a little bit of his firepower after that. But just because of that period was good enough for him to be in this team. To have him move forward from midfield to attack, he's the perfect player to have. Just unbelievable. So we have an unbelievable centre mid pairing right here.
Yusuf, what do you think?
I agree with Ahmed, but I'm just gonna I'll take
Be
out
controversial.
I'll take out Hosni Abdurrabbu only because I need to fit in another player that I just can't ignore, and that's Hazim Imam. So maybe I'll play like maybe Abu Trika a bit back, and for attacking it's going to be Hazim Imam. Hazim Imam's skill and talent and dribbling skills are undisputed. I've never seen an Egyptian player as talented in dribbling as he is, and he definitely deserves to be there.
All right, so we can agree on Ahmed Hassan in one spot.
Yeah.
And then the final one between Abdurrabbu and Imam.
Yeah. What's your fault?
I'd like to give a
go on.
but I'm really conflicted. I'm gonna go with Abdurrabbu and side with you this time, Ahmed.
Thank you.
Honestly, it fits the team. It fits the team.
Okay, so we have that set in the midfield, very solid, and then on to attacking midfielder. There's no debate really.
No way. No chance.
Yeah.
No chance.
Right.
Yeah, the Prince of Hearts, as they say in Egypt. I've been a Zamalek fan most of my life, all my life really. And there's no way anyone can hate this person. Like there's no way you can hate Abu Trika. Just unbelievable talent, unbelievable skill, unbelievable person. Just a credible leader, and I think he has a big role in why Salah was so good as a player. Is because he nurtured him and he showed him the ropes. And I think it's criminal to leave him out of this team. I think, in my opinion, he's the best player in this team. And I haven't even finished.
We'll move on to left wing, which is a position that probably isn't as glamorous in Egyptian history. So, Ahmed, you've been very vocal about Imad Mitab. Do you think he should be blocked there?
I'm being controversial. So I'm, like I said, it's not the perfect. I'm not choosing the left winger as such. I'm just choosing the best attacking players I can think of. If I need a goal, I'm gonna go for Imad Mitab. He's so clinical. He's not gonna dribble past someone on the left. Let's be honest. But like that important goal he scored against Algeria in Cairo Stadium to take us to a tiebreaker. We don't want to mention the tiebreaker with in Sudan, but he's just so clinical and you score a goal out of nowhere. So for me, he has to be in it. Hossein Hassan has to be in it, and of course Mohamed Salah has to be in it. Special mention to Mohamed Barakat.
Nice save.
Yeah.
Yusuf, what do you think?
Okay, so you said that the left wing position isn't the most formidable position in Egypt. We've seen maybe in our lifetime maybe Trezeguet and Ramadan Sobhi and of course Barakat. Those are the people that we've with. Yeah, definitely Barakat 100% deserves to be there. But special mention needs to go to Tahir Abu Zaid too. That guy was just incredible. That guy was really incredible. So he deserves to be on the left as well. But I'm going with Barakat because all of his achievements with the Hassan Shahata team. That's my choice on the left.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with Arms and almost everyone in Egypt and in the world with Mohamed Salah on the right. So, yeah. As for the main striker, the one and the only Hossein Hassan, that's 100%. And Hossein Hassan actually played. He was with Gohri and then with Hassan Shahata, so he witnessed both eras. So that's like an ad.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, because I don't want to take too much time, but we do have three strikers. But like I didn't want to put these three on my mentions, in my honorable mentions, because I didn't feel like they deserve to be. My opinion: Mido, Amr Zeki, and Mido, Amr Zeki, Mohamed Zidane. Those three, I'm not sure about. They're not in my honorable mentions, but I thought about Mohamed Zidane for a little bit, and I realized
If I were to add one in my honorable mentions, I'd add Zidane over Mido and Amr Zaki.
If you look at all of our most memorable wins as Egyptians from modern times, Zidane is in all of the matches. It's crazy. He's been unbelievable. So he's very unlucky not to make the team, but definitely high up in the honorable mentions for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So this team is very strong. As you can see on the screen now, we have everyone here. But to finish it off, who should be the coach?
It's not even a debate. Hassan Shahata, let's end this phone call right now.
All right, there we go. Well, that's the team done and dusted. Weren't too many debates, so very strong. I think this team would do pretty well at the World Cup. They definitely qualify, in my opinion.
We'd win a World Cup, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, that's hoping or reaching for a little bit, but it just makes you realize how unbelievably talented how much talent we've had throughout the years. So you look at the Egyptian team now, and it's like, wow, good times.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Yusuf, for joining. This was very fun, and hopefully we can do this again in the future. Goodbye.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.